We've learned so far in this chapter how even basic formatting can really change the look of a document. Our press release here with a little bit of bolding, a different color, changing the case, it looks totally different than what we started with. But there are many, many more text effects that we can use, and we're going to experiment with some of them now. We're going to do it with our press release. If you need to get caught up, open up LH Press Release 0304 from the Chapter 3 folder of your exercise files. Let's experiment with our title. We'll start by going into the left-hand margin, clicking there to select it. And let's change the size. I'm going to go right to this context-sensitive formatting toolbar that pops up and change it to 24 points. Let's change the font also from Arial to something thicker like Arial Black. You may need to scroll down the list if it's not one of your recently used ones to select it. And you can see now it's really standing out. Let's deselect by clicking into the background. We're really going to be able to see the effects that we apply to this title. So first, we need to select the title by going into the left margin with one click. You can see it's highlighted. And now let's start by changing the font color. Let's click the color drop down and choose something a little bit lighter. So I'm going to go to the original purple up here, accent 4. Now we can go to the text effects button and give it a click. You're going to see some presets to choose from, and they have their own colors. Some of them have reflections. Some of them are three-dimensional. Some of them have a bit of a shadow in the background. You can see that's kind of cool. But we can recreate any of these presets and, of course, our own custom formatting by going down to Outline, Shadow, Reflection, or Glow. Or combine one or more of these options. Let's go to Outline first. Let's choose a nice light outline. We have a darkish purple right now. Let's go to orange and select it. You can see right away when we deselect, it has that orange outline. Now the outline itself can be adjusted. Let's go back to select our title in the left-hand margin. Go back to the drop-down and go to outline because we can go down here to change the weight or thickness of the line if we wanted to. As we hover over these, you can see the effect in the background. I'm going to go to 1 point. You can also change the line to dashes, dots, whatever you like. I'm going to go back though to this, and you should come with me to Outline from Text Effects and choose No Outline because there are some other effects we might want to explore. Let's go to the drop down for Text Effects again, and this time go to Shadow. Check out the presets to choose from. Outer shadows, and you can kind of see it in the background, what that's going to look like. Different angles for those outer shadows. I like the offset diagonal top right, but there are some inner ones as well. A different three-dimensional effect. Also perspective, if you want it to look like the light is hitting it from the front at an angle. So these are different options that make it look like it's really coming off the page. Let's go back up to the outer options and choose one like this guy down here, offset diagonal top right. It's a subtle effect. When we deselect, we can see it. It kind of appears to be coming off the page. But again, we can make adjustments to that preset. Click in the left-hand margin. Let's go back up to Text Effects, down to Shadow, and down at the very bottom, you'll see Shadow Options. I like going here because it does a couple of things. It gives us access to shadow options, but also opens up Format Text Effects, this pane on the right-hand side, where we can do all kinds of cool things. So as you can see, the shadow group is expanded here, but we can expand reflection, glow, soft edges, 3D formatting, all of these options at our fingertips thanks to this pane opening up. So there are the presets we've already seen. We've already selected our preset, but we can make adjustments to that, like maybe a dark gray shadow instead of black. It's more subtle and more realistic. We can change the size of the shadow. We can bump it up with the arrows. You can see what's happening. It's getting bigger and bigger in the background. I'm going to leave it at 100%. You can also use the slider and maybe increase the blur for an even more realistic effect. Also, the distance can be changed. Let's bump it up to 4. It appears that our title's coming even further off the page. Kind of cool. All right, let's collapse shadow. And instead of going to Text Effects and choosing Reflection from there, we can access it right from this pane on the right-hand side. There are presets for reflections as well. And as we hover over these and give them a click, you can see the effect. Not exactly what we're looking for. Let's go back and choose No Reflection, but you can experiment with those. Let's collapse it and go to Glow. Glow is kind of like outline, but it's more of a fuzzy outline. Check out the presets, different colors and different sizes of glows to choose from. So if we were to choose one of these, you can see the effect. Not ideal, so let's go back to the presets. You'll always have the option to choose no, in this case, no glow. All right, we'll collapse glow because there's soft edges as well that you can apply to some selected text. In our case, not this text, but think about word art and things that we're going to talk about a little bit later on. Soft edges would be applicable. 3D formatting, though, will work with this text. When we click it, you can see there are different bevels, depths, contours, even materials that are three-dimensional that can be selected. And if we wanted to, we could go to any one of these, give it a click, and see the effect applied to our text if we're not using something else. Now we can also reset to start over. Let's go back up here to the top, open up shadow. We'll choose no shadow and focus on 3D effects now by collapsing shadow. And let's go to one of these top bevels. I like this effect right here. You can see already it looks three-dimensional. Now let's change the material. Maybe this would look better. You can see that's really bold. This one's a little bit lighter. I like that effect right there. Let's change the depth. So if we wanted to, we could choose a darker purple and change the size by bumping it up or down. I like it there at 5.5. Deselect to see the end result. That's cool. All right, let's close up this pane by clicking the X to close it up. And those are some of the special effects you can apply to content in your documents here in Word 2016.